weekend, everyone. I'm your host, Leah Secondo, for Turf Talk, presented by Longstreth. Our show today deals with Olympians past and present. We're going to talk about growing the game, how the game has progressed, through the Olympics. Have we seen any type of special activity with all the Olympic hype that we've had all year? Our first guest today, 2024 Olympian, Allie Hamill. Allie, thanks so much for being with us on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Appreciate you. And also the assistant coach and former Olympian. She's done it all. She was the first one that was actually, I would say they would say that there were others that were the Michael Jordan of hockey, but Tracy Fuchs, you in my era, were the one that we all looked up to. So glad to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Leah. Great to be here.
Awesome. So you both get to experience Paris and represent our country in a way that people would never think that it would be possible, right? You dream about it as a kid, you never know what's going to happen, and all of a sudden, for you, Tracy, did it once, and you then did it again as a coach. Allie, the opportunity to be in Paris. Just if you could explain that whole feeling, but it was business too. It was all about business too.
Yeah, so I think for me, still, I would say it doesn't feel real heading into the games. It didn't feel real, but just an incredible experience to be there. To be with so many amazing teammates, like so many, the coaching staff, everyone just, really dedicated group. I think that was amazing. But for me, I think my approach was, just very much like this is similar to a pro league game. This is, things we do every week. And I think, it really helped me to say, okay, this is amazing. The experience is incredible, but focus in like it's game time. Yeah. So pretty cool.
Tracy, you posted a lot of pictures on Instagram. You look like a little kid everywhere that you were in Paris. Some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that made it about 5 days. But, for me, it came full circle to be able to represent your country and play in 2 Olympics and then have the opportunity to coach some amazing women and, not just be at the Olympics, but the whole journey to get there. I think we will always be bonded for life. And I'm so grateful to have that opportunity to represent my country again as a coach. There's nothing better.
Allie, the dedication that you had to show. I'm sure you gave up a lot, training, your personal life. So we're going to talk about a couple of cool things that are happening with you right away throughout the show here. When you think about what you gave up to have that experience in Paris, just some of your thoughts on that and the training that went into it, because a lot of people don't realize that it's not, you can't balance work and be an Olympian.
Yeah. No, it's really tough. Being away from my now fiance, my family for long periods of time, just waking up every day. And I was recently asked, well, how, on the days that you want to get up and you want to do it, that's great. But on the days that you get up and you don't want to go, what do you do? And it's just about getting up and doing it. There is no choice. There is no like, oh, well, maybe I can call in sick today. No, you can't. You have to show up and do it. So, it's just a ton that goes into it. And we talk about, this really stems down from our coaching staff, but how every person on the squad, it's like our family. And then, we have every person on the squad, their family, they're also a part of the squad. So, talking about how, everything that we go through, they're also going through it with us. So, and being able to bond in that way really helps, with the journey and the tough parts of it all. But I mean, at the end, qualifying for an Olympics and then being able to play in Olympics, it makes it all worth it, so tough, but very, very rewarding, at the end of the road.
Did you have to like change your diet and everything in your training regimen and become a little bit more like a service academy athlete? I would think, right?
Yeah. So, I think something great about our squad is we do really value that balance piece of it. We in our core values, it's called joy. So a few people do work on the side, but we discussed as a team as we moved closer to the Olympic qualifier, into that year leading up to the Olympics. It was okay, how do we, take a little bit of time out of that, our work and our, unfortunately, our family, and put it back into field hockey. So again, very tough, but all things that in the end are worth it to do for us to go out there and compete at the Olympics. Like again, an insane experience, very cool. So
You guys looked pretty well dressed too. Tracy, from your perspective, you're balancing your personal life, your team life at Northwestern, the Olympic life, keeping an eye on everything. You're the ultimate in multitasking, but how did that kind of change you and some of your thought process and having to reflect a little bit on what the athlete is going through since you've experienced that?
Yeah, I think it was nice that I had been to two Olympics to kind of share my journey with the athletes, and certainly coming in and out with the U.S. team gave me a really good perspective. I think sometimes when you're there every day, you kind of see the same things. So my role with the coaching staff is to be, give them that outside perspective when I come in and say, actually, I think this or that. So it was great. I haven't had a day off, I don't think, since last Christmas though. So don't anybody call me in December. I'm going to be vacationing in Arizona.
There you go. Perfect. Allie, going back to you now, what are you doing, and what are your plans like for the next Olympics? Because obviously it's here in the States.
yeah, so again, one of our core values is joy, and big big believer in you have to make sure your own cup is filled up before you can then go back and invest in a team like this. So for me, the last about month and a half was making sure that I spend time with my family, head back up to Boston, see them, see my fiance's family. And then I've been working on the side. I also work for a club called Delta Field Hockey out of Connecticut, which is really awesome to be a part of that process. And then we actually just started strength and conditioning and then training about 2 weeks ago. So just slowly getting back into things, figuring out how to hold a field hockey stick again, all the things, yeah. So, and then we're prepping for a short series that we have with Germany actually coming up in November. So excited for that, but just taking it slow, getting back into it. And then looking forward to, of course, we have the Nations Cup in March coming up, which is huge for us. And then we have our Pan American Cup, which is our World Cup qualifier next August. I believe it's July, August. Yeah, so excited for those things and just thinking like one step at a time here, getting back into it, just being present and focused on the here and now, and yeah, excited for the future.
Tracy, as we talk about your team and coming back from Paris, and obviously you had Maddie and Ashley Sessa were able to experience it as teammates together. How have you found them to come back and not just kind of ooze what they've learned to their team and not but let the teammates be themselves? How has that progression been for both of them?
Yeah, it's honestly been really, really easy. They took a little bit of a break after the Olympics, but they honestly probably didn't get enough time as they needed to, especially with Ashley coming into a new team. Maddie, it was easy. She had her old friends and everything, but Ashley's coming into a new team. And honestly, it went really, really smoothly. So, and that obviously where we are now, having a great season, and those two obviously make a big difference. But we're team first, and we have a lot of other players who really contribute. So they've fit in well, and we're really excited about the next month coming up here.
Absolutely. And picture here of Olivia Bent Cole. I found out she's going to be trying to be an umpire, or she is actually an umpire, but she's working her way up the ranks. How's that balance? I mean, she's a great student athlete, but how has that balance been? And I would assume she's like another set of umpire ears on the field for you.
She's a great umpire, actually. But obviously, she's in her playing mode now. But I think when you umpire, and everybody's umpired a little bit, right? Whether you're injured, or it gives you a different perspective, what you can see, what you can't see, how to speak to the umpires. It's really a science. So I think any of the young players out there should umpire anytime they can, because it really does give you a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a quick timeout. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with Allie and Tracy after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to Turf Talk. Today we're talking with Special Olympians, special coaches, special players, and Tracy Fuchs and Allie Hamill. And ladies, as we progress along here in the show, Allie, you've had some very exciting news recently. Tell us when's this going to happen?
Yeah, so we're thinking fall of 2026. We don't want to rush it. We want to make sure it's everything that we want. So, and with, everything that we have going on in our upcoming schedule, we're just like, oh, okay, let's take the time, do it right. Again, make sure it's everything that we want. So, but super excited. Just like, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. Where did he propose?
He actually proposed so my dad owns a small Airbnb in my town in Duxbury. So this is the backyard. And if you see in the background, it's the Duxbury Marsh, which is just like beautiful, land there. So yeah, just very, very cool. And yeah, I was so excited. I knew a little bit, like I knew it could happen. I just didn't know when. So yeah, just very excited.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Tracy, did you know about it?
I did not till after on the social media. Congrats, Allie.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tracy, let's get into the team a little bit. You guys are obviously off to a solid start. Certainly everybody's talking about Ann Arbor, and I know you don't want to look ahead to that crystal ball because so much can happen, but to have Annabelle Skubish in that back line, kind of dictating everything up front, she is just so much fun to watch. What did she work on? Anything in particular in the off season to hone her skills even better to the next level?
Yeah, I think she's been a member of the under 21 team. We have a goalkeeping coach, Tristan Clemens, that we bring in on occasion, and she's elevated a lot of her game. And I think the best part about Scooby, which is what we call her, is she's such an even-keeled leader, which keeps our defense, who's very experienced, in check. And there's nobody else I'd rather have defending for the Wildcats, that's for sure.
There you go. Coming off a solid weekend, took down Penn State. You got a little reprieve here, and before you pick up Harvard. But I think everybody was kind of watching what went on yesterday and the last few days and over the weekend. BC with a solid win over Virginia, trips up a little bit against UMass, and now this weekend they have the Cal and Stanford, Ohio State and Michigan. What a game that was! Seems like Michigan is on a little bit of a roll too. Some of your thoughts on the Big Ten, and Allie, I'd like to hear some of your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I think it's such a great conference right now, and every day you've got to go out and play your best to come up on top, and you really can't look past your next opponent. So we have a little bit of a break from Big Ten, but we're playing Harvard next weekend, who's top 10 in the RPI and has been very, very good over the course of the last 5 years. So we're looking forward to it. We get to try some different things, playing at a conference that we can use later for the Big Ten. So we're really excited to host them next weekend in Evanston.
Allie, your big picture thoughts thus far. The top 10 really keeps moving. Iowa slips a little bit. Then all of a sudden Virginia moves up. Carolina slides. Northwestern.
Honestly, I think it's just been very exciting to watch. This year is very competitive, as it always is. And we are, my fiance and I, every Friday and pretty much Sunday, we're like, okay, what games are on? What are we watching today? And it's, every game is competitive. Of course, we like watching the BU Terriers because,
Absolutely.
Gotta love it. But yeah, no, every game is competitive and it's so fun to watch. Like, just reminds me of playing in the NCAA back when I played for BU. So just so exciting and, happy for all the players out there competing hard and working hard for their goals. So.
Hey, Allie, when you're coming back from Paris and you're doing all the clinics and different things that you're doing, have you seen like a different type of a uptick, especially where you're from, which is always like the hotbed of everything that's going on in the sport? But have you seen a little bit of an uptick from that grassroots level?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, us qualifying for the Olympics is such a huge spark in, growing the game and, getting numbers in the game across the United States. And then two, having a home Olympics in LA, you can totally see it happening, which is awesome to see. It's why we play. It's why we're here. I think it's why all of us are involved in the game, continuing to grow the game. So, very cool again to see. Really excited for the future of both, of youth programs, of, leading all the way up through collegiate and then all the way through the international level. It's, again, very cool to see. So.
Mm-hmm. Tracy, how about in your area, out in the Chicago area? Any type of? I know you guys are always involved in something out there, but have you seen any type of uptick on things? And how could a youngster out in that area get involved in the sport?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our crowds have been significantly better the last month here. We've gotten a lot of fans. I was at a Northwestern function the other day, and I had 3 or 4 people who, coming up to us. They know where we stand in the country and just asking questions. And it's fun. It's fun to be, women's sports right now in general there's been a real uptick, and that helps us all. And we just need to all, promote each other and do what's best for women's sports.
Absolutely. We're going to take another quick time out here, and when we come back, we'll have much more with Allie and Tracy after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to Turf Talk. Today we are joined by Tracy Fuchs, the head coach of Northwestern, and Allie Hamill, 2024 Olympian for the United States. And just hearing that, Allie, when you say, I'm representing my country, what was the most emotional part for you?
Yeah. I think for all of us, it was stepping out onto the field against Argentina for that first match and singing the national anthem. What an incredible moment to have family, friends there, all of our supporters, people watching on TV. It's like you can't quite, grasp the amount of people that are watching that match, that first huge rivalry match against Argentina. So I really thought I was gonna cry. I held it together. But
there's no crying in field hockey.
I know. So incredible. Just so much pride in the moment. Yeah.
How about you, Trace?
Yeah, I would say very similar. I mean, I know how hard these women have worked to get to this final goal, and trying to keep everybody healthy until that first whistle blows. Was amazing, and just seeing them go out there and give their best, and knowing what a bright future we have as we build towards 2028. You can't beat it, and so excited to be involved.
It looked like the venue was awesome. I didn't realize the history about it until I read about it. And you guys probably had the best venue out of any of the venues in Paris. Did you feel that way?
I mean, there were a lot of very cool venues. I'm not gonna lie. Walking around, after we finished playing and seeing all the venues was insane. But I mean, the background of our venue it's the opening ceremonies of the 1924 Olympics. Like,
Right.
it's incredible. Very cool to be a part of that.
Excellent. Hey, Tracy, did you bring your stool with you? Your
I
lucky
did
stool?
not. I had a pretty good setup though. I had a couple of ice coolers, and I
Perfect.
made my little nest over there.
A fan.
Right. The fan. She had a fan? Because it was hot, right?
Nice fan there. She's airing
Oh,
herself out. She's living
Just
her best life.
doing her thing. Doing her thing. So as a team, when will you all convene together next? Do you do it via Zoom? How does that work?
Yeah, so of course, a lot of our players are in college right now, so they're playing their season. So they'll slowly trickle back in as they've had the ability to take time off and regroup with themselves first before coming in. So and then our first, I think, will be around December, January time. But really, again, just making sure they get their time and then slowly trickling back in as they see fit for themselves.
Excellent. And I know, Tracy, you want to go deep into December, early December. So yeah, how does that work for you?
Yeah, I think it's obviously, uh, I'll chat with David, and I think December's not a light month, but a pretty light month. So I'll take the rest I need to be invigorated for the next cycle here, and take some time for myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Ann Arbor's been kind of pretty good to you guys too, so I'm sure that you'd like to get back there.
Yep, one game at a time.
One game at a time. A lot of games left for sure. The addition of different programs at all levels, I think that's so important. We talk about growing the game, and it's nice to see even at Division II and Division III, an opportunity for the sport to go. Allie, when you were looking at schools for our viewers, one, what was important to you? And two, the makeup of maybe looking at if you're a borderline D1, D2 kid, like some of the things that a student athlete may think about as they're trying to select schools.
Yeah, so for me, I knew I wanted to be around home somewhere if I could, but I knew that I wanted to play Division I field hockey. So, however that figured itself out was I wanted to play Division I, so that was my biggest thing. Really starting, I would say, my sophomore junior year is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I looked at all schools though, which was big for me, big for my club coach. He was like, go look at every school, figure out what you like, figure out what you want. If something were to happen and you couldn't play field hockey anymore, where would you want to be? Which is, I think, super important. So, and then of course, academics is very important. So I was looking at everywhere and anywhere, Division
Sure.
III, Division II, Division I. I, for a time, wanted to play ice hockey as well. Do
Got a
both.
girl.
Yep, Trace, heck yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to do that for a time, but really just decided field hockey was for me. Again, Boston University fit check so many of those boxes. Great academically, great field hockey program, a school that was going to push me both on and off the field. And then, of course, super close to home in the city of Boston, which is incredible, like just such an amazing city. So many schools in that area. So, yeah, just checked all the boxes. But, yeah, again, big thing for me was look everywhere and anywhere, and really figure out what you like as an individual, and as both as a field hockey player and as just a regular student. You have to fit everything. So
Tracy, you watched the game evolve. The opportunities in your era, my era, weren't plentiful. The scholarships weren't plentiful. What made you look at UConn a little bit more? And as you evaluate athletes, student athletes to come to Northwestern, which is obviously a very special place academically as well, some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I grew up at UConn. My older sister went there. I went to camps every summer. And I just wanted to play hockey and be the best field hockey player I could be. I knew I would get a good education out of it. And, I never really looked back, and still value my time there for sure.
Absolutely. It's grown so much. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Turf Talk. Tracy, Allie, thank you so much for being with us on the show. I hope you'll come back at another time as the season progresses and our show continues to take off.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We will have more for you on Turf Talk next week. So make it a great field hockey week. And always remember, grow the game wherever you are. Thanks for joining us on Turf Talk.